I always thought the stories were just ways to scare children. My grandmother used to warn me, if the smiling man finds you in the dark, you must never smile back. If you do, he'll follow you home. I laughed it off for years, until tonight. I was cutting across the field, like I'd done countless times before. The path was silent, except for the faint rustle of grass in the wind. It was a shortcut, and I never had reason to fear it. But tonight, the air felt wrong. It pressed against my skin, cold and heavy, as if the night itself was holding its breath. Halfway across, I saw something that shouldn't have been there. A street lamp, tall and old, standing alone in the middle of the field. Its dim orange light cut a small circle into the darkness, flickering like it was struggling to stay alive. I slowed down, staring at it, confused. There had never been a lamp here before. That's when I saw him. He stood just beyond the edge of the light, a tall, thin figure in a dark suit, his head tilted slightly to one side. At first I thought he was just some stranger, but then I noticed the smile. It wasn't natural. It stretched far beyond what a human mouth should, a jagged line of teeth glowing faintly in the dim light. And his eyes burned in the darkness like faint coals. My feet felt nailed to the ground. I wanted to run, but the weight of his gaze pinned me in place. His smile never moved, but I could feel something behind it, something ancient and patient. My heart hammered in my chest. Then he took a step toward me. The sound of his foot in the grass was soft, almost delicate, but it was enough to break my paralysis. My grandmother's warning rang in my mind again. Never smile back. I bit down on my lips so hard I tasted blood, forcing my face to stay still. He stepped closer and closer, until the faint glow of the street lamp touched his face, revealing the deep cracks in his skin, as though it had been carved from old wood. The lamp flickered once, twice, and went out. In the blackness, I heard him breathe. Right next to my ear. The darkness was so complete it felt physical, like cold water closing over my head. I could still feel the damp air in the field, but now there was something else, a faint, rotten sweetness like fruit left too long in the sun. My breath caught in my throat. I didn't want to move. The breathing was slow, steady, right behind me. I could feel it brushing against my neck. Every instinct screamed at me to turn, to look, but the thought of seeing him up close made my stomach twist. I took one step forward. The grass whispered under my foot. The breathing stopped. For a moment I thought maybe I'd imagined it. Then, just to my left, I heard the faintest rustle, as if something was gliding through the grass without lifting its feet. My pulse pounded in my ears. I forced myself to keep walking, slow, measured steps, trying to act like I hadn't noticed. A voice broke the silence. It wasn't a whisper. It wasn't even human. It was wrong, hollow, like words echoing inside an empty skull. "You're not smiling." I clenched my jaw, my lips pressed into a hard line. My body wanted to tremble, but I knew movement would betray me. I didn't answer. Then the voice moved. Not around me, not through me. It was inside my head. "Smile, and I'll walk you home." I kept walking. My eyes adjusted slightly to the dark, enough to make out the faint shape of the street lamp far behind me. It was the only thing I could focus on, a single point in an ocean of black. But as I kept my gaze locked ahead, I noticed something awful. No matter how many steps I took, the glow of my house's porch light never appeared. The field seemed longer. Wrong, like I was walking in place. And then, ahead of me, another lamp appeared, just like the first. Same faint orange glow, same lonely circle of light. And standing under it, him. He tilted his head the other way this time, but the smile was the same, wide, carved deep, waiting. I froze. My mind scrambled for an explanation. There had to be one. But every story my grandmother told me came rushing back. Every warning, every whispered detail about what happens to those who meet his gaze too long. He didn't move toward me this time. Instead, he raised his arm slowly, unnaturally, and pointed behind me. My legs moved before my brain caught up. I turned. There was another lamp and another figure, smiling. I spun back. The first one was gone. Now there were two lamps in the distance, each with a figure beneath, both smiling, both tilting their heads in perfect unison. The space between us began to shrink, not because they were moving, but because the dark around me was collapsing, folding in like the walls of a closing box. The grass hissed underfoot, though I wasn't walking anymore. The voice came again, now from everywhere at once. "Smile." I could feel my mouth twitching at the corners, my body betraying me. My jaw ached from holding it shut, but the pressure was unbearable, like invisible fingers were hooking into my cheeks and pulling upward. I bit my tongue, hard. Blood filled my mouth. The lamps blinked out one by one until only the black remained. I thought I was alone. Then a warm hand rested gently on my shoulder, and the last thing I heard before everything went silent was a whisper, so close it brushed against my ear. "Now, I'll follow you home."
Subscribe to